Watch closely, because this vehicle is about to do something no motorhome is supposed to be able to do. It rolls into a campsite in China, comes to a complete stop, and then the roof lifts. A second floor rises out of nowhere. Glass walls climb into position. A balcony unfolds on the upper level. And, somewhere inside, a person steps into an elevator, presses a button, and rides down to the ground floor of their own vehicle. This is not a rendering. This is not a concept sketch waiting for funding. This machine is in production. It drives on public roads right now, and by the time we reach the end of this list, you'll understand it actually had to fight for the #1 spot, because the competition includes a motorhome that turns into a boat. The second its tires touch water. One with a hydraulic garage built to carry a Bugatti, one shaped by the same design studio responsible for Ferraris, and one with a fully certified helipad bolted to its roof. 9 vehicles, 9 completely different answers to the same question. How far can you actually push the definition of a motorhome before it stops being one? If builds like this are the kind of thing that gets your attention, the like button is the fastest way to tell us to keep finding them, and subscribing means you're not missing it when the next one shows up because we already know it's coming. Some of what's ahead will make you question what luxury even means anymore. Some of it will make you wonder how an engineer's brain arrives at these ideas in the first place. Let's start counting down. Number 9, the Romoto T8, the cabin that physically rotates open. New Zealand is the kind of landscape that looks artificially enhanced even in person. Mountains that look painted on, fjords that stretch past the horizon, beaches nobody's touched. So when a New Zealand architecture firm spent 11 years designing a motorhome, comfort was never the actual goal. The goal was building something that wouldn't embarrass the scenery it sat inside. On the highway, the Romoto looks nothing like a motorhome. It looks like a sealed aerodynamic pod, smooth and almost secretive. Then it parks, and in under 60 seconds, the entire interior cabin rotates 90 degrees outward on a hydraulic turntable base built directly into the chassis. Not a panel folding open, the entire living structure physically pivoting. What was a closed capsule becomes an L-shaped home with a covered terrace, a fold-out table, and wind-blocking side panels, wrapped in glass that curves 270 degrees around the interior. Sit anywhere inside, and the landscape doesn't sit beside you, it wraps around you. The co-founder says it's built to last 50 years and get passed down through a family, which reframes the price entirely. At $268,500, roughly the cost of a modest house in most American suburbs, you're not buying a vehicle. You're buying an heirloom that happens to have an engine. But no rotating wall, no matter how clever, can do what the next machine does the moment it reaches open water. Number 8, the Terrawind by Cami, the motorhome that becomes a functioning boat. John Gilliam never studied engineering in a classroom. He learned mechanics fixing tractors in rural South Carolina. And somewhere between those tractors and this vehicle, he built the only motorhome on Earth that is also a fully seaworthy boat. The Terrawind stretches 13 meters long and weighs 16 tons, roughly the weight of 10 full-size pickup trucks stacked into one hull. And underneath its luxury shell sits a military-grade aluminum hull built directly into the vehicle's base. Reach the edge of a lake, and the driver doesn't stop to park. They engage a marine transmission that redirects a 330 horsepower Caterpillar engine into twin bronze propellers, and the entire vehicle simply drives off the shore and into the water at 7 knots. Step inside while it's floating, and nothing about the cabin feels like an RV that improvised its way onto the water. Marble floors, teak cabinetry, and an 8-jet jacuzzi positioned so you can soak while watching open water pass by. Exactly like a yacht that was born on the sea instead of driven to it an hour earlier. Priced between $850,000 and $1.2 million, which lands somewhere between a luxury penthouse and a mid-size yacht on its own, the number stops feeling absurd and starts feeling like the only logical price for a vehicle that erases the choice between a road trip and a boat trip entirely. From a machine that conquers water, the next tier of this list reaches straight up into the sky. Number 7. The Furrion Elysium, the motorhome with its own certified helipad. In 2004, 3 engineers who'd spent their careers building mega yachts sat down and asked a strange question. What would a motorhome look like if it were engineered with the same ambition as a 100-foot yacht? 13 years of development later, in 2017, they unveiled the Elysium, 45 feet of metallic gray bodywork topped with a rooftop helipad that isn't decorative. It's a fully certified landing pad rated to receive a Robinson R-22 helicopter. You can genuinely fly to your own motorhome. The roof splits into 3 working zones, a sunset lounge, a 2-person hot tub, and the retractable helipad itself, which folds flush into the roofline when not in use, so the deck stays usable the rest of the time. Inside, the yacht logic continues without compromise. 3 75-inch 4K displays, a working fireplace, a climate-controlled wine cellar, and a full steam shower, the kind of amenity list that makes a 5-star hotel suite feel underbuilt by comparison. Furrion never officially listed the Elysium for retail sale. Estimates place its value between 2.5 and 3.5 million, roughly the price of a private jet's annual operating budget. And it exists less as a product you order and more as proof of what happens when engineers stop asking, is this reasonable, and start asking, is this physically possible? The next builder took that exact same question and pointed it at Hollywood instead of the sky. Number 6, Anderson Mobile Estates and the Heat, a 22-wheeled home built for movie sets. Sylvester Stallone was the one who made the introduction. He'd already seen what Anderson Mobile Estates could build, and when Will Smith needed a mobile base while filming Men in Black 3, Stallone pointed him toward one specific vehicle. Smith committed $2.5 million to it, a number that, once you see what's inside, starts to look less like extravagance and more like a functioning studio lot on wheels. On the highway, the Heat reads as an oversized premium trailer. Impressive, but not shocking. Then it parks, 8 hydraulic pistons fire in sequence, and the entire roof lifts to reveal a second story that unfolds into a private 30-seat cinema with full screening capability, the kind of room you'd expect inside a boutique film club in a city center, now sitting on top of a trailer parked in whatever lot the production called home that week. Downstairs, $300,000 worth of custom leather covers every surface, and the bathroom alone cost $25,000, built around a glass door that turns fully opaque at the touch of a button. Not frosted, not tinted, completely opaque in under a second. Smith lived inside the Heat during both Men in Black 3 and The Pursuit of Happiness, and today anyone can rent it for a night in Elgin, Texas for $9,000, which sounds steep until you remember that's less than one night in a decent private jet charter. From a Hollywood filming rig, the next tier of this list belongs to people who need somewhere safe to store their car collection while they travel. Number 5, the Marchi Mobile Element Palazzo Superiore, $3 million of pure obsession. When the Element Palazzo Superiore approaches on a highway, your brain genuinely stalls trying to categorize it. The windshield is circular, borrowed directly from helicopter cockpit design. The wheel covers stretch 36 inches wide, pulled from race car engineering. Nothing about the silhouette looks like it descended from a conventional RV lineage, because it didn't. The Austrian firm Marchi Mobile deliberately pulled from 3 unrelated industries, motorsport, aviation, and luxury yachting, because no single discipline on its own could produce what they wanted. The result costs $3 million and takes 8 to 10 months to hand-build per customer, roughly the gestation period of a newborn giraffe with 0 assembly line involved, every unit built from scratch for one specific buyer. The feature that separates it from nearly everything else on this list is the Sky Lounge. Press a button, and a fully enclosed rooftop terrace rises into position with its walls already sealed, furniture already bolted in place, and radiant floor heating already running, an entire finished room materializing above the vehicle in seconds. Inside, the master bedroom centers on a king-size bed built by Hypnos, the same official bed supplier used by the British royal family, meaning the exact mattress standard found inside Buckingham Palace is now parked in a field somewhere outside Vienna. That would be the most obsessive machine on this entire list, if the next one hadn't gone even further. Number 4, the Volkner Mobile Performance S, the motorhome built to carry a Bugatti. There's a very specific, very rare problem facing a very small number of people on Earth. You own a Bugatti Chiron, you want to take it on a real road trip, and you cannot leave a multi-million-dollar hypercar sitting unattended at a campsite. Volkner, out of Germany, solved that problem the only way that made sense to them, and the answer is exactly as extreme as it sounds. The Performance S has a hydraulic garage built directly into its side panel, a platform that slides outward from the body with enough room to swallow a full-size supercar. A Chiron fits, a Porsche 911 fits, a Ferrari 458 fits. The car rides inside, fully enclosed and protected, until arrival. And when it rolls out onto the extended platform, that same platform instantly converts into an outdoor terrace, somewhere to sit, drink, and take in the view, before the car goes back in and the platform retracts flush into the body. Inside the living quarters, a Burmester sound system alone costs $55,000, roughly the price of a fully loaded luxury sedan, just for the speakers, and the furniture is carved from Macassar wood, the same material used inside private jets and superyacht interiors. Nothing in this vehicle was chosen because it was affordable. Everything was chosen because nothing better existed. With the Bugatti included, the total package reaches approximately $7.7 million, meaning the garage alone costs more than most people's entire homes, and somehow, inside this specific vehicle, that math checks out. From a motorhome built to protect a supercar, the next entry comes from designers who normally build machines meant to go 200 miles per hour, not 20. Number 3, the AS Future ET by Pininfarina, the motorhome shaped by a Ferrari design house. Pininfarina designed the Ferrari 458 Italia. Pininfarina shaped the Maserati Gran Turismo. When that studio puts its name on a project, the entire automotive industry stops to look because their work has never just been about appearance. It changes what people believe is achievable. In 2024, they unveiled the AS Future ET, a fully electric motorhome with no combustion engine, no exhaust pipe, and no engine noise whatsoever. While it's moving, the only sound is the low hum of electric motors against pavement. While it's parked, the only sound is the motorized walls sliding outward before the world goes quiet around you. Those walls, fully extended, open the interior up to 37 square meters, roughly the floor space of a compact Parisian apartment, not a cramped RV interior you shuffle sideways through, an actual livable footprint that drove itself to your campsite. The detail that actually redefines off-grid travel is the water system. The AS Future ET pulls ambient humidity directly out of the surrounding air and condenses it into as much as 50 liters of clean drinking water every single day, enough for cooking, drinking, and washing with zero hookup and zero refill required. Park it in open desert, run the system overnight, and wake up with a functioning water supply pulled entirely from the atmosphere around you. The stationary base version starts at $98,000 with a drivable model slated for production, and in almost any other year, a zero-emission motorhome that manufactures its own water from thin air would have earned the top spot on this list outright. Two vehicles still remain, and together they represent something bigger than one company's engineering flex. They represent an entire country deciding to compete. Number 2, the DTL RV Carbonic Liner 78, carbon fiber at a price nobody expected. In August 2023, a team of engineers out of China's Sichuan province did something almost nobody noticed at the time, but that quietly reshaped how the industry saw them. They loaded 3 motorhomes onto a convoy and drove them 13,200 kilometers to Dusseldorf, Germany, a distance most people would simply fly rather than attempt by road. They drove it deliberately because arriving in the vehicles themselves made a statement no trade show booth could replicate. Their destination was the Caravan Salon, the industry's largest and most influential trade show, the exact room where European manufacturers had defined this category for decades. Into that room walked a team from Sichuan with machines they'd engineered themselves. A year later, they returned with the Carbonic Liner 78, and this time the body itself was made from carbon fiber, not trim accents, not a decorative hood panel. The entire structural shell, the same material used in Formula One chassis and military fighter airframes, built into a production motorhome priced above $150,000. A price point where no other manufacturer on the planet offers a full carbon fiber body. That material choice makes the vehicle lighter, stronger under stress, and far more resistant to the long-term wear that road travel inflicts. At 784 meters long, the Carbonic Liner 78 features dual lateral slide-out extensions, automatic hydraulic leveling stabilizers, a 1,000-watt solar array feeding the entire interior, heated flooring throughout, a rain shower, and a self-cleaning ceramic toilet system. Driving 13,000 kilometers just to stand in front of the industry that invented this category and say, we belong here too, is the kind of move that doesn't just get noticed, it recalibrates how seriously the rest of the world takes you. And that exact confidence, pushed to its absolute limit, is what built the vehicle sitting at number 1. Number 1, the SEIC Maxus Lifehome V90 Villa Edition, the rolling skyscraper. SEIC is China's largest automaker, and when they decided to enter the luxury motorhome category, they didn't study the European playbook to try to match it. They asked a completely different question. What does a motorhome look like if you design it with the logic of architecture instead of the logic of a vehicle? The V90 Villa Edition is the answer, and it earns the top spot not because of one standout feature, but because of what happens when every feature stacks on top of the last one, and you realize the entire structure is still sitting on 4 wheels. On the road, it reads as a sleek, well-proportioned motorhome. Nothing about the exterior hints at what's coming. Then it parks, and the transformation begins in stages. Hydraulic side extensions deploy first, expanding the ground floor to 20 square meters, already a generous, fully finished living space with heated floors and smart climate control before anything else even happens. Then the roof lifts. The entire upper structure rises hydraulically to reveal a complete second floor, not a raised ceiling, not a cramped sleeping loft. A full second story wrapped in tempered glass on every side, giving an unobstructed view in every direction from an elevated vantage point above the surrounding terrain. Step out onto the walkout balcony, and you're standing above the campsite looking across a mountain range, a coastline, a forest, whatever the landscape happens to offer that day. The glass walls themselves are transparent OLED panels, clear glass when powered off, a full television screen the instant they're powered on, meaning the same surface. You watch a sunrise through and the morning becomes your movie screen at night, with no separate frame, no mounted panel, the architecture itself doubling as the entertainment system. And then there's the elevator, not a fold-out ladder, not a narrow staircase, a genuine single-person elevator connecting the ground floor to the second story. operating quietly at the push of a button, the only feature of its kind in any production motorhome currently manufactured anywhere on the planet. No European brand built this, no American brand built this. SEIC did, and they priced the entire vehicle at approximately $413,000, a number that only makes sense once you compare it against everything else on this list. Less than a seventh of the March E-Mobile's $3 million, barely a 19th of the Bugatti carrying Volkner's $7.7 million. The V90 doesn't just win a features competition, it changes the actual question engineers in this category have to ask next. Before it existed, the industry was asking how to make a single-story box feel more like a home. After it, the question became how many floors you can stack, what the walls themselves are capable of doing, and where exactly the elevator shaft goes. Before the recap, it's worth being honest about something most videos like this skip entirely. Almost nothing on this list is mass-produced. These are low-volume, hand-built, made-to-order machines. Several of them exist as single units or tiny production runs, and the price tags reflect exactly that. Engineering ambition with essentially zero economy of scale behind it. This isn't the RV industry shifting overnight for the average buyer. It's a small number of manufacturers proving what's technically possible at the absolute top of the market, and letting that ambition trickle downward over the next decade. So here's the fast version. A rotating cabin from New Zealand built to outlast 50 years. A South Carolina tractor mechanic's motorhome that drives straight into a lake. A Mega Yacht Studios helipad-equipped estate on wheels. A Hollywood cinema on 22 tires. A $3 million hand-built machine with a rooftop room that appears out of nowhere. A German garage on wheels built to protect a Bugatti. A Ferrari design house's water-generating electric home. A Chinese team that drove 13,000 kilometers just to prove they belonged in the room. And at the very top, a 2-story rolling structure with glass walls, a walkout balcony, and a working elevator priced at a fraction of what its closest competitors charge. Strip away the price tags and the specs, and what this list actually documents is a shift in who gets to define the category at all. An industry that Europe quietly owned for decades, now watching a Chinese automaker walk in and simply ask better questions than everyone already in the room. That's not a story about 9 expensive vehicles. That's a story about where the next decade of this entire industry is about to get built. If this pulled you in, the like button tells us to keep tracking builds like this, and subscribing means you're here when the next one lands, because at this pace, something's going to top this list within the year. Now I want to hear it from you. If you could drive off in any one of these 9 right now, no price tag attached, which one are you taking? And where's the first place you're pointing it? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one.